Hey, what's up guys? Joker here, and I hope you're all doing well. Today we have got another Zen 2 Ryzen 3000 series leak today concerning the Ryzen 9 3950X, which we're not expecting to see all the way until September, but we've got a Geekbench benchmark database scores for single core and multi-core, which we can go ahead and compare against one of Intel's top SKUs. But first, today's video is brought to you by LevelGo.com, where you could save money on games for all of your favorite platforms, as well as software like Windows 10 Pro for under $16, Microsoft Office 2016 Professional Plus for under $40, and Microsoft Office 2019 for under $80. And if you use my code JSL22 at checkout, you can get 22% off of Windows 10, or use the code JSL16 to get 16% off of any software over on LevelGo.com when you use the links down in the description below. So as I said, this benchmark is over on the actual Geekbench database. So some company or AMD or maybe one of the board partners, possibly MSI, which is the motherboard that was used for this testing, or whoever, went ahead and ran this benchmark on the 3950X, and it was added into the Geekbench database, so that's good because we can go ahead and compare it to something like the Intel 9980XE, which surprisingly it is doing very well against and actually beating in some cases. And also we've got information on some clock speeds here, which are actually kind of one thing to take a look at, which is just a little bit off in terms of the base frequency. As you can see here over on the Geekbench database, we've got a score of 6714 on the single core, which is monstrous. And then multi-core got a score of 64,953, and we'll get to the comparison with Intel in just a moment. But as we can see here, this is a 16-core, 32-threaded AMD processor in the Matisse family, so that would be the 3950X. However, it's got a base frequency of 3.3 gigahertz, which is lower than what the 3950X is advertised at, and it's got a maximum frequency of 5.2 gigahertz. So this is definitely overclocked, and overclocked by a fair amount. I don't think any of us expected to see the 3950X sitting at 5.2 gigahertz. That is pretty darn high and pretty darn promising in terms of overclocking capability on these new Ryzen CPUs. And I have to give credit where credit was due. This benchmark was originally leaked over on Twitter by Tum_Apisak, which if you've been following me for a while, we've talked about him before, but he posted this about 10 hours ago, so just last night, and the link over to the Geekbench database. So that's really what we're taking a look at here, and he was the source of where I got this information to go ahead and kind of chase down this rabbit hole to give you guys this information. So that's all well and good. It's a synthetic benchmark, but how does this actually compare to an Intel part? Well, we can actually go ahead and do that comparison here, and I tried to find something as close as possible to these clock speeds, and the best I could do was finding a 9980XE running at 4.8 gigahertz with a base frequency of 3 gigahertz, so getting pretty close to the 5.2, not quite there. But you know, it's these 9980XEs don't really do over 5 gigahertz that well, and you know, we don't know yet just how well or how consistently the 3950X will be able to do that, or what kind of cooling they were using for this. But at least we can go ahead and, you know, kind of compare on based on what we have. And also, it's worth noting that the 9980XE is a $2,000 CPU versus the 3950X is a $750 CPU. And the 9980XE also has 2 more cores. That's right, it's an 18-core, 36-threaded part. So you would expect, you know, $2,000 part versus $750 is going to absolutely destroy AMD all day long. Well, you know what? You'd be wrong, because we got a side-by-side here with these two different benchmarks being run. As you can see down the right side here, we've got the 3950X score. Down the left side, that 9980XE, which we just took a look at. And you can see that on the single core score, which is the thing that was, you know, kind of worrying the most, is actually that AMD is winning handily with a score of 6714 versus 5803 on the single core versus Intel. That is just crazy that they are winning by that much versus the 9980XE, a $2,000 CPU versus a $750 part. And when it comes to the multi-core score, it's actually a lot closer than I would have expected to see, with the AMD 3950X getting 64,953 versus the 9980XE at 66,016. And remember, that is an 18-core part, and we're only talking of a disparity here of 1,063, which is not a lot in terms of multi-threaded with this particular benchmark anyway, let alone the fact that this is an 18-core. So if AMD was running an 18-core as well, matched up against it, which they're not releasing, but if they did have an 18-core, hypothetically, it would absolutely trounce the Intel 9980XE at $1,250 less. So those scores right there are just absolutely mind-blowing to me and just makes me even more hopeful for this launch and being able to see what they can do, and also personally just for replacing my 9900K in my system with one of these 16 cores. Definitely planning on doing a 12-core initially, and then I'll swap it out for the 16-core once we do get sampled on those. And yeah, this is just really super exciting stuff. And you know, in terms of that lower base frequency on this sample from AMD, like I said, I think this could possibly be an engineering sample, because it wouldn't really make much sense if they were going to release you know, a second part with maybe like a slightly lower base clock. That just really wouldn't make a whole lot of sense, honestly, in terms of this launch. So I think maybe what we're looking at here is an early engineering sample, which, I mean, hey, if an early engineering sample could hit 5.2 gigahertz, what is the final product going to do? It could maybe even do more than that. So I'll just have to keep you guys updated as soon as we get more information on this going ahead in the future. And of course, make sure that you are subscribed for future content like news videos, rumors, leaks, and of course coverage of the Ryzen and Navi launches once we're able to post content on that. I will be definitely reviewing that stuff on day one, so make sure that you are subbed for that content, and leaving your thoughts and everything down in the comments below on this story and what you think about it, and if you think it's legit, if you think it's fake, if you think it's better than you expected, leave everything down in the comments below. And as always, I do thank you guys for liking, commenting, subscribing, and ringing that notification bell. I'll catch you tomorrow for another video. Sir.